You brought in Jayden and Hiram, not identical players, of course, to the ones you lost. Not only in David, but also Ollie and Joel.
Yeah, I think the fact is we couldn't replace David like for like. I mean, there aren't many right-sided midfield players that play like David, if any. So it was a case of allowing the team to evolve, selecting some targets who could bring certain things to the team that we felt we needed, and the team's evolved already. So that side that finished last year has changed already, and that doesn't mean that's a bad thing. You know, we just play to the strengths of the players we have, and players who are keen on developing their game and moving forward with us, and we have, I think, two very good signings there.
Absolutely. And of course, this is your 12th year here, isn't it? Famously, I think only Troy Hendrell you'd ever paid for a fee before. How did it feel to get the chequebook out?
Well, it was a necessity. I mean, I think in isolation we don't very often make these purchases. But I think in that case as well, at the time we were selling down to Seabourn, and Troy was a replacement, and it was a trade that worked. So this is just the same. You know, David out, Jayden in, and it's a trade. So I mean, we very rarely do this, but actually sometimes, you know, you have to keep your mind on this is business. It's pragmatic. We've got to get a certain amount of players in our squad of a certain level, and it's just a trade. It is a trade. So as much as we've paid for Jayden a substantial fee, and Troy before that. In both cases, they were a straight replacement for a player we were selling at the time. So I suppose they're both an anomaly in the way we work, but both, I think, totally appropriate and necessary at the time.
Jayden, we know about. How did Hiram come to your radar?
Well, we've seen him here in the southwest, haven't we, before, playing for Plymouth. So we've seen him play there. We've always thought he was a very, very good player. We've kept an eye on him, as we do with all good young players. And circumstances meant that he was in need of a new challenge, a new way to promote himself in his career, and I'm very glad to say that, you know, he agreed to let Exeter City be his next step, and I think he comes on high recommendation from a lot of people, a lot of potential. I spoke to him personally, like I do with a lot of our potential players, and decided that I liked, you know, his motivations and his expectation, and it was a good fit.
You've also brought in the two youngsters from West Brom. Tell us about them.
Well, I think that brings us, you know, a good level of depth into the squad for the next 4 months, and we've got a settled side at the moment, but as we found out last year, things can change very quickly with injuries. So again, two young players. Matt Oakley dealt with this particular deal with West Brom, and two young players who I'm sure will gain from the experience of being part of our first team squad, challenging for a place. Both need to, I'm sure, wait for their opportunity and put themselves in a position, but they're both looking for long-term careers in professional football, and I hope we give them a very good experience, and I'm sure they'll have an opportunity at some point. So we've got a settled side at the moment. I think all those players we spoke about now, all 4 new players, you have to wait their turn.